All right, John, are we live? All right, everyone, this is Dr.SHIVA. We're going to be reporting live. Many of you have been asking me, I've been getting tons of emails. Hey, Dr. Shiva, what's going on in Canada with the truckers out there? As many of you know, almost about 3 weeks ago, we did one of the first lives talking about what was going on in Alaska and essentially urging the truckers in Canada to unite and get together and basically ensured that the government of Canada wasn't going to be repressive. And what's been amazing is there's been a bottoms-up movement, as we can see, that's happening. The most important thing that we also want to report is, John, bring everyone on. Our movement has been extremely active on the ground. These are just some of the few of our Truth, Freedom, Health warrior scholars on the ground in Canada. I'm just going to, for those of you who probably didn't study geography class too well, I just want to show you the geography of Canada. So if you see here, oops, on this, let me bring this up. If you guys see here, this is Canada. To those people who are in the United States, obviously up here is Alaska. Down here is the United States, the continental. But we have Jason Chabot over here, one of our Truth, Freedom, and Health leaders, warriors out in Vancouver, which is British Columbia. We have Marika over here in Calgary in Alberta. We have Desiree, who's literally Convoy, and you can hear those noises of the trucks in Saskatchewan, and she's traveled on the convoy all the way to Ottawa to support them. And then we have Tony Ashdown in Ontario, and we have two other people in Ontario. They're having a little bit of trouble connecting, but we'll be giving more reports live. But let's just go to our team here live, and we want to start with, we're going to go from, we'll start with Desiree. Well, let's start with Jason, and we'll sort of jump around. Jason, you're out in Vancouver. Why don't you tell us what's going on there, what you've seen on the ground, and what they're planning in Vancouver? John, can you bring everyone on together, please? Yeah. Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, thanks very much for having us all here, Dr. Shiva. Here on Vancouver, obviously, we had to have many of our trucks leave earlier in the week, but that doesn't stop us from supporting them this Saturday, actually, at a truck stop on Lickman Road. It's, again, Lickman Road in Chilliwack. Again, more geography for people in the rest of the world, but Lickman Road truck stop in Chilliwack, there is actually going to be a big rally in support for the truckers as they obviously arrive in Ottawa this weekend. So that's what's happening here in the West Coast. And obviously when it comes down to everybody else on the East Coast, I'm sure we're all watching our computers.
And how many people did you see there, Jason? What did you see when the rally started there? What did you see on the ground there?
Yeah, basically the news reports don't want to report on this, and that's a shame. But what you can totally see is what you're seeing probably around the country as well, which is overpasses lined with people and flags and just people celebrating the fact that finally someone's got the ability to express their emotion and their feeling that I'm sure people have just been waiting to express. So it's just a matter of having that focal point. So that's what we're experiencing here is overpasses and flag waving. And like I said, this rally coming up this weekend on Saturday, if you're in the BC Lower Mainland area, the Lickman Road truck stop in Chilliwack is going to be a focal point for a huge support.
And Lickman Road, and so in British Columbia, anyone out there should go to Lickman Road. That's this Saturday, right?
That's right. Yeah, the support, there'll be a Vancouver and Lower Mainland truck support convoy. That's what we're planning to do on Saturday. Lickman Road truck stop in Chilliwack.
Let's go over to Desiree. Desiree, we're going to just do a quick snapshot because Desiree's been on. She's part of our Truth from Health warrior team. Desiree, maybe you can just tell a little bit of people what you've been sharing. I've noticed a bunch of the banners you had on Truth, Freedom, and Health, but you've been out there. Why don't you just give where you're from, Saskatchewan, and what you've been doing traveling down?
Yeah, I am from Saskatoon, Regina, Saskatchewan. We followed the convoy. We arrived kind of late. We were kind of chasing them, which was no fun because I only caught the tail end of the convoy in Regina. And like, I am overwhelmed with how many people were out Like, I caught the tail end. I was driving and I'm like, I can't be in the convoy. I have to watch this. And like in Regina, they had fireworks, like the amount of people that were lined up on the sides, and they're just like so excited. Like it's insane. And like we've driven since Tuesday afternoon with rest stops, and I have a friend that's traveling as well. And there's so much support. So for me, my message is like, nobody's alone. You're not alone. That's absolutely a big deal. You're not alone in this. There's so many people. There's somebody that was out with like her 6 months bundled up in sleeping bags in like minus 32-degree weather Celsius. So it's just, the support is overwhelming. The Hutterite colonies, they were to give us food, and the Winnipeg police, they said, "Oh no, it's not safe to park everybody here. It's too congested." So the wonderful people followed the convoy for another 2 hours to where the place was safe, so that they could give everybody food. And there was so much food. It's ridiculous. I was eating some of the food for breakfast this morning. So we're now in Hearst. I'm at the truck stop. We did go through a snowstorm, or there was a snowstorm on another route, so we had to take a different one. So change of plans.
Where are you right now? You're in Ottawa, right? Right here?
No, not quite in Ottawa yet. We are in Hearst, Ontario right now, which is, we're going to go, the meetup spot, I don't know if I should give that out. Okay. We're going to go about 150 kilometers from Ottawa tomorrow night. And then we're all going to convoy together. It's the gathering point tomorrow night, and head into Ottawa. I think we're supposed to be there around lunchtime on Saturday. And that's why all across Canada, there are solidarity rallies. You know, there's one in Saskatoon, or no, actually there's one, I think, in Regina, Saskatchewan, at the Legislative Building on Saturday as well.
That's great. So let's go over. We'll come back to you, Desiree. Desiree's literally on the convoy, and it's very exciting. Marika is one of our Truth, Freedom, and Health warrior leaders in Alberta, right? In Calgary.
Yes, in Calgary.
Marika, why don't you just tell us what you saw and what's been going on, and then what's going to be happening there? Go ahead, Marika.
For sure, yeah. I have been involved with the movement for some time, and I have been watching how working people are waking up and realizing their true value. And so with the truckers, when on January 15th, our Trudeau announced that truckers need to have vaccines to actually transport goods and services, truckers decided that they had enough. And so they organized and decided to go to Ottawa. So I have been part of this, watching how it actually built up, and exactly what we learned in your book, that this is how revolution starts. So I'm actually seeing that people of Canada are uniting, and these people that we depend on, and they are arteries and veins of our society, are actually realizing their true power. Working people are realizing their true power. So this is exciting. I went on Monday morning to the truck stop where there was going to be a send-off, and it was just so many that they ended up leaving late. And this is my understanding, that they're leaving late anywhere. It's just running a little bit behind. But nevertheless, trucks are ready, people are ready. A lot of kids on the streets with the signs. It's just amazing how people are coming together, and everybody felt the same, yet somebody decided to do something about it. And that's exactly what we are doing, learning in the Truth, Freedom, Health movement. What else I would like to say? I have been also following and listening live from the woman that is organizing, and actually who is has a GoFundMe, and she's just ordinary person that decided to help truckers with a couple $1,000 for the field. So it has grown. Growing so big, and it's not about much about funds, and I'm not sure even if truckers have access to any of those, but determination and desire for change is just bubbled up, and it's overflowing right now. What else I wanted to say? Yeah,
so Marika, 1 second. What I want to do is, if you notice, I'm putting all these comments. Can you see these, Desiree?
I can.
Yeah. So these are.
I love it.
All over the world supporting what's going on. There's something. God bless you, Desiree. So
Oh.
we have close to,
Yes.
about 700, 800 people live listening from all over the world.
Nice.
Okay.
How many?
So about 700, 800 people live right now. Okay. Listening from all over the world. Okay. So this is really, really cool. So one of the things I want to do is, Desiree, you spoke about something very important, and so did you, Marika, is that this is about people getting on the ground. And this is what we've been saying that needs to happen. What's also important to happen is when a bottoms-up movement comes up like this, people also need to be ready for the not-so-obvious establishment, which will attempt to hijack these movements.
Yeah.
Good news is in Canada, we have people who are trained now, right, who will defend these movements and make sure they go in the right direction. What I want John to do is, just a few days ago, right near, up in northern New York, up in Buffalo, New York, we had a young immigrant who got up and held up a Truth, Freedom, and Health sign to support the truckers there and here. And John's going to play his video. It's a very beautiful video because he's never done this before. And to Desiree's point, there's nothing like getting on the ground and connecting with human beings. The establishment doesn't want us to connect one-on-one. They want us to live in our own little holes, be on the internet, not build a movement, okay? So, John, can you play that video for everyone?
Absolutely, Dr. Shiva.
I want everyone to watch this video. I don't know if you saw it, everyone, but let's play this video. Go ahead, John.
So I went on the ground last Saturday. It was 3 degrees Fahrenheit, minus 16 degrees Celsius in Buffalo. I made a homemade sign, went to a bridge nearby. It was very exciting to show my homemade sign. A lot of people smiled and waved at me. Like 100 people smiled and waved, 100 people honked. Almost 1,000 people saw the sign. It was amazing. It was quite emotional for a few minutes there. I felt like I was giving hope to a few people. I was also giving some courage to a few people. I could see that in their eyes. It felt amazing. I was very excited. It inspired me to get out this weekend also, and I'm making a bigger sign. And I want to tell everybody, this is very, very important. Going out, it's like Dr. Shiva is teaching us how to fish. He's not giving us a fish and feeding us every day. Like, he has taught us how to fish. He has given us the plans to get the shackles off. We don't want to be that person who is asking Dr. Shiva to, hey, can you come feed us every day? We have to get out there. This is very important. We have the plans. This is the blueprint to take our civilization to the next level, to get out of all this nonsense that we are in. I can't believe what's happening here, but Dr. Shiva is giving us courage. We cannot be that person after having all these blueprints and the keys to shackles, asking someone else to, hey, can you get this shackle off me? Can you help me? Can you feed me every day? We have the tools. Dr. Shiva is giving the ultimate education, like he says in the video, the tools to connect with each other. We have decoupled us. We get all the commands from the news media, like, hey, go get angry. This person shot this person, or this color person did something. We cannot take the commands from them. We have to decouple from the media and couple with the people, like he says, look at your own kind. What Dr. Shiva is doing is very important. We are sitting on a gold mine. We have to share this. It took me a year. I've been a warrior for a year. It took me a year, like, oh my God, what we have here is unbelievable. It's incredible. We have to share this to the people. We can end this really soon.
You nailed it, Suresh. It's like, you go to a coach and the coach keeps saying, if you want to be a good baseball player, you have to do wind sprints. And you just listen and you listen. You don't really know what the guy's really saying because you don't want to do it. It's an unconscious incompetence. But when you go do wind sprints and you build up your legs, you say, wow, I knew what the guy was saying. So I can only say this so many times. This is why we want to get what you just said here, Suresh, is really important because you're documenting your journey. This is when you become a human being, when you get out and you interact with other human beings. Until then, it's all just, frankly, theory, I'm very, very excited that you went out and did this. So I just want to make sure the journey for you to get out and do it was more valuable than having the perfect flag, the perfect, everything perfect. That's very, very important what you just did. That's one of our movement people who's an immigrant who just came, who still knows what freedom means, because he came from a country there is very little freedom. So Desiree, what you're sharing, why don't you share with people, because you're in the convoy, how much the fact that the news media and the establishment there has been trying to suppress the coverage and how they've been trying to mischaracterize it. Maybe you can share that with everyone.
Sure. A few days ago, there was a report that from the truckers in BC are protesting the icy conditions in the bad road conditions in Canada. I think the truckers in Canada know what the road conditions are like, and I think there's a little bit more than that. I think somebody said that we only had like 12 trucks too. There is a variety of numbers out there. I'm not going to promise any specific numbers, just because I haven't seen it yet.
But it's more than 12 trucks, right?
Oh, heck yeah. I videoed, we caught the convoy this morning, and they came through, and I was videoing for 30 some minutes, and people were coming through, and I had to re-video again. And then I was like, okay, we're catching the tail end. Let's go. So yeah, that's not true. I don't know if there's 50, 60,000 from Canada here. That's what some of the numbers are out there. I don't know. We'll see tomorrow and the next day. A couple of the things, I was joking with my buddy that's driving here as well, that it's a typical Canadian thing. We were kind of deadlocked, and I rolled down the window. I was talking to people, and I'm like, thanks for coming out. And they're like, thank you. And I'm like, yeah, totally Canadian. No, thank you. Back forth, So humanity is well and alive. This is just proof, right?
It's awesome. So Tony, Tony Ashdown, you're in Ontario, right, Tony?
Yes, I'm in Ontario. I'm about an hour and a half south of Ottawa.
And why don't you give us your observations, what you've seen there, Tony, on the ground?
Well, I haven't really seen anything. We're quite far south of the convoy itself. They took a northern route to Ottawa rather than the 401, which is the main thoroughfare from Windsor up to Montreal. But this is history in the making. I've heard that the convoy itself is 100 kilometers long, and in American terms, that would be 60 miles of nothing but tractor trailers going to or in the convoy itself. Our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, has decided that he was exposed to COVID and is now isolating for 5 days. So he's hiding. He's hiding from this event. He's also came out and said that the truckers themselves were misguided and misinformed and all of that nonsense. And he's pretty well trying to avoid or diminish the meaning of this convoy, which is absolutely huge. One of the biggest protests the world has seen right here in Canada, coming to a climax, I guess you could say, on Saturday in Ottawa.
That's excellent, Tony. What's interesting is I think many people know that Canadian people are very kind and loving people. And the fact that Canadian people are getting on the ground and showing their displeasure, I don't think the government really thought this was going to happen. They thought people would just roll over and be nice to them.
Ooh, Dr. Shiva, can I say something to that? The one thing that Trudeau is pushing, that like people are, we're racist, we're bad people.
I heard that. I saw
you
that.
know, like I said, with the food, with the visits, with the thank yous, like the people in the convoy just want the mandates to end. We are not violent. I have not heard one bit of people wanting, planning anything like that. So we just want the mandates, done, and the passports done. We want to get back to our lives, and we want to be able to, say what we want to do with our own health, right? So
that's right. You're in your truck. You're at a truck stop right now, right?
Yeah.
Is there any activity there? I know it's really cold there.
Yeah. Below. Well, it's only -20, probably with maybe -30 with wind chill, but I'm back out. Some of the trucks, most of the trucks I think they're moving on about another 2 hours yet tonight, so that we only have a few hours to go tomorrow. It's slow traffic, but when we pulled in and we were talking earlier, it was nuts. Like,
yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. I think one of the things that, when some people may know that our movement was sort of, typically we've been always ahead of the curve on this. If you remember, when we first talked about this, it was literally about, I think, 3 or 4 weeks ago, when we noticed that Trudeau had put forward a law which said that any U.S. trucker going through Canada had to get vaccinated, right? And we did a live on that. We had a bunch of people calling in. And at that point, it was basically to choke off Alaska. And our movement said it's really, really important that the Canadian truckers unite with the American truckers. And it's basically the call of our movement has been working people unite. And the fact that Marika, Jason, Tony, Desiree, and we have about 2,000 warriors up in Canada. They all need to support the truckers and all of you out there. But this is a very, very critical time that people recognize that the movement needs to be supported also with the right kind of food, not only physical food, but with the right political food. So people do not compromise in any way. Right now, the not so obvious establishment, I'm sure Trudeau, we know that there's the big unions, the big trucker unions out there, right? And the big, large trucking companies. And we don't want the trucking movement on the ground, bottoms up movement, to get sold out to those top guys. And that's going to be one of the, one of the most important things we need to watch out for. Not just Trudeau, but there's going to be a lot of vultures circling this movement right now to try to compromise it. They're going to say, see, all these truckers are there. Why don't you throw us a few bones? And that's what history shows. So we want to, make people aware of that this is an awesome opportunity to people to learn the lessons of history. Jason, go ahead. There's a bunch of people writing in. Jason, you can see the comments. So Anne McMahon says, proud to be Canadian and history in the making, if you can see that, right? For freedom, right? We need to hit, amazing how much evil, someone said, is around, nothing like tyrants no seen on ground. Someone says, throw the bums out, right? So it's really, Go ahead, Jason. Jason, go ahead. Oops, I think we lost Jason. One of the things we talked about a few weeks ago.
I posted in the chat the route that will be taken.
Okay. Yeah, if you have, yeah, it's great.
Sorry, I posted in the chat the route that will be taken on Saturday.
Okay. We'll put it out there.
And people can. It's been liked a couple times, so if people want to find the route, they'll be taken on Saturday.
Why don't you tell what the route is, Jason?
There's also a picture too I can forward to you, and you can post that if you like.
Yeah, email it to me, Jason.
Yeah, the route is going to be starting on January 29th, starting at 10 a.m. Sure thing. 10 a.m. northwest corner parking lot of 290-91A Street in Langley. And then the route's going to go from Langley to Langley to Chilliwack, ending at the Lickman Road truck stop. So January 29th, starting at 10 a.m., northwest corner parking lot, 290-91A Avenue Street in Langley. And then from Langley to Chilliwack, ending at the Lickman Road truck stop. Just a comment on not so obvious establishment. Obviously, one of the strategies that the Canadian government had here was to get a whole bunch of people these emergency wage subsidies. And so now people are being attacked based on whether or not they took the wage subsidy. And it seems to be a race to whoever's going to have some sort of moral ground. Our Canadian Charter of Rights does recognize the supremacy of God and the rule of law. And the only comment I can say on that is that there's a lot of religious establishments that took that wage subsidy. And they're throwing insults and attacking the movement for, again, not having a moral right. And I think that in itself is the compromise right there, is that the government has got some form of a state-run religion happening here. And I think if we can expose that, we'll maintain a moral integrity to this convoy, because I know it was very popular for people to go through. The people have donated on the GoFundMe and start calling out people who are taking funds from the government. Well, I'm positive if we were to look in the background of some of those people, we'd see they were taking funds as well. So we need to get rid of those types of critiques and keep this on the up and up when it comes down to integrity. And I think we're doing a good job of that. Some of the places that were attacking this have been called out for actually being lobbyists for the Liberal government. I know that came through with the Truckers Alliance there. That was one report that came out. They were not in favor of this, and they were recommending their vaccine to statistics. Well, that got debunked when they were exposed as being lobbyists for the Liberal government. So I'm glad that those type of things have been done. That tells me that we're going to actually make a big dent in the conscience level of people's mind, making sure that they see that this is truly a right thing to do. And I think people have been looking for that more than anything. That's been suppressed big time, especially with the government trying to take control of, say, the religious aspect of this.
That's great, Jason. Thank you. I think what I want to do is I want to just wrap up, but we'll be doing more reports. Desiree, Marika, Tony, Jason. We have many other Truth, Freedom, and Health warriors out there. Two of them were trying to join us. We did this very last minute. Marty and Steven. Steven's in Ottawa, right? And he's going to be hosting Desiree there, as I understand. And but to everyone listening out there, I think the most important thing everyone needs to understand is what's going on in Canada should be occurring in every neighborhood, every part of the world. The bottom line is the elites have been using this quote unquote pandemic. It's really not about vaccines. It's really about slavery. And if you look at what's going on with truckers right now, not only in Canada and the United States, everywhere, their wages have been going down massively. You can just do some little bit of research. And it's a population where it's typically the 40 to 60-year-olds. And they know that they have been squeezing the small business owner truckers. 15%, only 15% of the truckers are from the large trucking companies controlled by lobbyist government. The 80 to 85% are small family-owned business truckers. This is how they survive. And part of this regulatory framework is to crush the small business truckers and force them to join the big trucking companies, which can be easily controlled. So this chess move that Trudeau, the United States, every government's trying to do, that was what the part of the pandemic was, and Amazon was part of this. If you really think about it, Amazon was one of the only retailers with Walmart and Costco which was allowed to be open. All the other small retailers were wiped out. So that gave massive control to a few large retailers and a few large trucking companies. So the establishment in the next few weeks is going to try to blame the truckers, call people racist, call people white supremacists, all this nonsense. And that's why you're going to have that attack by the establishment. And then we're going to see the not so obvious establishment try to use the movement of the truckers to try to win some gains for themselves, to try to get some crumbs. And the good news is our movement for truth, freedom, and health exists. We've trained our people to observe this, and people like Desiree, Marika, Jason, Tony, and others are not going to let people get away with this time because our movement exists. We don't need to sell out. So what Jason said is right on the money. So that's the next phase that we need to be aware of. Desiree, do you have any last points? Because we have our meeting coming up, our warrior meeting coming up that we do. And to everyone listening, today we have an open house. John, maybe you can just put the open house in the chat if anyone wants to come at 8 p.m. to learn more about the movement. John, if you can just toss the open house link right on the chat. John, can you do that?
Yeah, sir, I'll get that.
Yep. Go ahead, Desiree. We'll sign off.
Um,
You're right at the truck stop there.
yeah, I guess last words, if you're in Canada, come on out. Try to find me or us. And, like, I don't know, just have faith in humanity is one thing that I've been learning. And definitely join Dr. Shiva's movement. There's so much to learn. I've been working on the leadership course as well, and I don't know it all, but I'm going to continue to learn as we go. And I want to say to everybody else out there, just to let you know that Dr. Shiva's movement is honestly the only thing that has probably kept me pretty sane. So I always feel empowered after every single meeting that I've been on. So be the light, right?
That's great, Desiree.
Yeah.
And our movement is always open, and we want to invite everyone to come tonight. We have an open house. The link is right there. You can just sign up and join us. But it is everyday people, working people like Desiree, and everyone out there who gets on the ground that's going to change the world. The world is not going to change by Joe Rogan or Tucker Carlson or Neil Young or celebrities or Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who speaks one thing and says another. It's not going to happen by Donald Trump. It's going to happen by the people that you're seeing right here and everyone here. And so it's time that we watch what's going on here and we start having dignity for our fellow workers. And we let go of these misleaders, because the misleaders will always take a movement and they're opportunists. So Desiree, you're out there, negative 20 degrees weather. Tony, you've been a longtime resident of Canada, and you said what you're seeing is historic. Eureka is an entrepreneur, runs her own shop, right? And educates people on these principles. That's how a movement gets built. So Desiree, thank you very much for sharing what you're doing. But it's brilliant. Let's move forward. John, thank you very much. We're going to be at our open house at 8 p.m. Everyone's welcome. But everyone out there, watch what's going on. This is how a movement happens, bottoms up, but we have to watch it and defend it and explosively grow it. Not 1 inch to the establishment, not one compromise to the not so obvious establishment, right? And we will be very critical. Some people say, why are you bashing the not so obvious establishment? We will bash them because those are the people who always fuck up movements. And those working people, those truckers out there putting their lives on the line, and those people are our comrades. Our comrades are not Robert F. Kennedy. They're not Donald Trump. They're not celebrities. They're not Neil Young. They're not Joe Rogan. They're opportunists. So these are our heroes. Thank you, Desiree. Thank you, Marika.
No problem.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Jason. And Stephen and Marty, we'll get you on next time. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Dr.
thank you.
Shiva.
Thank you. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye.